Hello guys, today we'll continue with chapter 1 discovering Java and we'll study about encapsulation and inheritance. In the last part of this chapter 1 we studied about what is class and what is object, both characteristics of object oriented programming and also a little about the history of Java. So today we'll continue with encapsulation. Let us start. Okay. So what is encapsulation? The definition says the combining of our data and methods or functions into a single unit called class is known as encapsulation. So first, let us understand what is encapsulation in simple words. Encapsule. From this capsule, it has gone to encapsulation. Okay. So have you heard about this word capsule? Yeah, maybe you have used it when you are not in good health, or maybe someone in your family. The capsule looked like this. Have you ever opened this capsule? If you will open this capsule, you can find small granules like things. Small granules, dust kind of thing inside this capsule, which we cannot see. So sometimes the definition is also the wrapping up of data and function into a single unit called class is known as encapsulation. So combining or wrapping. So what is wrapping? You wrap a gift with this shining papers to give this gift to someone's birthday or someone's marriage party or something like that. So that is called wrapping. Wrapping means covering. It is basically covering. So here the capsule is covering something, and it is covering what? It is covering this actual medicine that is in form of small granules. Why it is kept like that? Because it is quite bitter in taste, and since it is in small granules, you cannot means it is not in the form of a tablet, it is in granules, so you have to keep it somewhere, and so a capsule is used. But this capsule by itself is not the medicine, it's just a kind of a plastic thing, but the main medicine is this granules which are present inside this capsule. So this medicine has some data that is nothing but the knowledge that we talked about last class, the last part of the chapter 1. So what knowledge? That yes, when I go inside your body, I will fight with the viruses or any other microorganism that are basically destroying your body somehow, like your stomach is upset, and they will fight with these antibodies to make your stomach good again. So that is the knowledge or the data within that capsules, within that granules. So this is the actual data that is present inside this. And what else is present? Methods or functions. We'll study about methods or functions in class 10 in details. But for now, you can just remember that what is a method? A method is a set of instructions. It is nothing but it is a set of instructions present in a group. A group of set of instructions is called a method, and in details we'll go in class 10. For now, this is enough. So encapsulation says that it is a combining or wrapping up of data and methods into a single unit called class. So here in this capsule, this is nothing but, we can say that this is a class. This is basically another definition of class. Okay, it is combining or wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit. In bracket there is written in called class. So this is also a definition of class, and this class contains combination of data and functions, and this data and functions is nothing but the medicines, the granules present inside this capsule. The data is that I have to fight, the function is the instructions given that when I will eat, you have to fight, or else if you will not eat, it will not going to fight by itself. So these are kind of instructions present in this capsule, inside these granules. But can you see these granules without opening this package, this capsule, this form? No, you cannot see the granules. This concept is known as encapsulation. Encapsulation is when you hide your main things. Sometimes encapsulation is also called as a data hiding concept, because you are hiding something here. It is also related to data hiding. Data hiding is another concept in Java. We'll learn in later chapters, in later time of chapter 1, where we are not able to see those granules because it is present inside this capsule. And this concept, we are covering it, right? We are covering it. This covering up of data and function is known as encapsulation. Like for example, you are giving a gift to your friend. Okay, it is a toy, but you are not going to give him the toy directly to in his birthday, in his or her birthday, but you are going to cover it with a box and a wrapper. Okay, in a wrapper. He will not get to know till he opens it. So this concept is known as encapsulation, because you are covering the main thing. You are covering the main thing. This covering up of the main thing here are nothing but data and functions. You are covering up the data and functions. When you cover the data and functions, this concept is known as encapsulation. We'll see some more examples. You can see this. This is a brain. See how powerful it is. It is able to carry the weight, because brain is more powerful than any other body part we have, because this is the most functioning. If your brain doesn't function, your hand will not function, your leg will not function, your eyes will not function, any part of the body will not function, because brain is the most important part. Therefore we are representing is that very powerful in this picture. The brain also uses the concept of encapsulation. How? So this brain, if this is our brain, this contains many data. That is nothing but, we can say knowledge, we can say information. We have information, we have knowledge. Yes. And we have some method. Method is nothing but, it is, for now you can remember, it is set of instructions, set of small instructions. Okay, so these are present inside your brain. Like for example, you have a knowledge that if you add 5 and 2, it will give you 7. Okay, so when an instruction is given by a teacher that what is the answer of 5 and 2, you can easily say, calculate in your brain and say that it is 7, because you have the knowledge. Okay, but can anyone see this knowledge? For example, your friend wants to, he doesn't know that 5 plus 2 gives 7. So can you steal from your brain? No. Can you see? Can you see what is inside one's brain? How intelligent he is? What he is thinking? No, we cannot. Because it is using encapsulation. It is wrapping all the knowledge, all the instruction inside this one thing. All the data, all the knowledge, all the methods, all the instructions are present inside this brain, which cannot be seen. It is covered up. Since all the data and methods are covered up, we can say that the brain also follows encapsulation concept. Another example, India. Similarly, India, you can see, for example, Taj Mahal. But can China come and take Taj Mahal from you? No, because again, it is covered up. So when covering things, the main thing is, when covering up things, it helps to make the data and methods both hidden and protected from others. It keeps the data hidden and protected from others. That is the advantage of encapsulation in Java. So when you use the concept of encapsulation in Java, all the programs in Java are examples of encapsulation. All the programs you will be writing in Java will use encapsulation, where it is hidden and protected. For example, WhatsApp is written in Java. There are big programs of Java that is written to make WhatsApp. Can you see those programs? No, because it is using the concept of encapsulation. The person who has written the WhatsApp program has kept it hidden from others, because if you will get the data, you can create your own software, and people will not use WhatsApp. Maybe they will use your program, your software. So encapsulation will help to prevent this. It will hide it, it will protect it, it will cover it. When you cover a thing, automatically it is hidden and protected. For example, you're going to school and you have some great item in your tiffin box, and you don't want others to know because they will eat everything. So you cover it, you want to hide it. This is known as encapsulation. All the food items are inside the tiffin box, protected and hidden from others. If you open it, then people will get to know. So you have to go somewhere secret and eat it, something like that. But you can share it. Encapsulation helps you to share. It is hidden and protected, but if you want to share, you can share it. Like, we can share this knowledge of that 5 plus 2 will give 7 with your friend. If you want, you can share. If you don't want, he cannot take you, like a जबरदस्ती करके नहीं ले सकता. Similarly, China cannot take Taj Mahal from us, but if you want, you can share it. Share it like you will not take and keep it for 1 year in China. No, sharing means foreigners, they visit Taj Mahal, right? That is sharing. They visit Taj Mahal, they pay the ticket and they visit Taj Mahal. That is known as sharing. The encapsulation, though it hides and protects the data, it helps for sharing. You can share, but only if you share, the data and method will be visible to others, or else it will be hidden and protected. So encapsulation is also sometimes known as a data hiding concept. There are many other characteristics of OOP which also supports data hiding concept. Will come later in this chapter. Okay, we'll move forward now. So in 2006, the question came in class 10 board exam. Define encapsulation. I think now you know, 2 marks. Maybe it will get repeated in future years. So encapsulation is nothing but it is combining or wrapping up of data and functions into a single unit called class, and this concept is known as encapsulation. So next we'll move to another concept that is known as inheritance, which you have already studied in your subject biology. So Java is an interesting subject. It somehow connects with different types of subjects like maths. Now we can see it as connected to biology. So you have to have knowledge of everything. It is not that you will study computer all the day, but you have to study all the subjects to fetch good marks. And here inheritance is taking the concept from the biology subject. So what is inheritance? An object acquiring properties of another object is known as inheritance. Or sometimes we can also write the definition: a class acquiring properties of another class is known as inheritance. Means you already know what is object and class in the chapter 1 part 1 video. So there are two objects, object A, object B. So if object A takes some properties from object B, okay, like object B sharing some of its properties. Every object has some properties, like fan gives wind, like light, like bulb gives light. So these are the properties of an object. Everything is an object. We studied in part 1 that everything in this world is one object, and each of this object have their own properties. Okay. So if B is giving some properties to A, or we can say that A is taking some properties from B, this concept is known as inheritance. Or another definition is class, let class X and class Y. If class X is taking some properties from Y, or Y is giving some properties to X, that is also known as inheritance. What is class? Class is collection of similar type of object, and this class has many objects. So you can say that a group of objects acquiring properties from another group of objects, but this group of objects should be similar in nature. It should make a class. So we can write that a object or class acquiring properties from another object or class is known as inheritance. And a beautiful example is grandfather, father, and child. How? Okay. Grandfather. Your father. And you. They have some similar properties because you have inherited. Inherited means you are bringing some properties from another object. Your grandfather is an object, your father is an object, and you are also an object. Everything in this world is one object. For example, sometimes you may have heard that, अरे तुम अपने पापा के जैसे दिख रहे हो, या तुम अपने मम्मी के जैसे दिख रहे हो. What does that mean? Maybe you have similar eyes like your mother, or similar kind of resemblance in face like your mother, or maybe in characteristics also. Like for example, your father is a very angry person, and when you fight with your friend, they will say that तुम अपने पापा के तरह गए हो, वो भी गुस्सा करते हैं, तुम भी गुस्सा करते हो. Something like that. So it is not only how you look, but it is also how you behave. So you must have heard there is some resemblance. Maybe you have may have seen your friend and his father or mother, his parents, his grandparents. There might be some equalities in some facial parts of faces, parts of face, or like some properties. Like for example, the father inherited the eye of his father, like that is nothing but your grandfather. Means the grandfather has blue eyes and your father has also blue eyes, and therefore you also have blue eyes. This is known as inheritance because you have inherited the blue color of eye, and this is biological in nature. This is biological in nature. This happens in real world. Okay. Or for example, your grandfather has a long nose, and therefore your father also has a long nose, and therefore you also have a long nose. Or your grandfather is bald, so your father is also becoming bald, and you also know that in future you will also become bald. So something like that. So these are the properties you have acquired from another object. So you acquiring properties from your father is known as inheritance. Your father acquiring the properties from grandfather is known as inheritance. Okay. So it is a simple concept. Inheritance means acquiring properties from another object or from a class. So we'll see another example. So here we have 4 objects, different objects. This is a steering wheel, this is a tire, this is a car seat, and this is the car engine. Not car, it can be vehicle engine, it is just a vehicle seat. We don't know it is a car or a bus or a tractor, we don't know. We'll see that later. So taking this, all these objects have their own properties. Steering to move the wheels, tires required for the wheels, seat to sit, and engine to run your vehicle. Okay. So now what we'll do, we'll take these properties of all the 4 objects and create a new object. We'll take properties of this 4 object to create a new object. Like we took 4 tire, not tire, here we'll take it as wheels, 4 wheel and 1 steering and 4 seat and 1 engine. So what can we make by taking the properties of this 4 object? So we have to think of a vehicle that is 4 wheels, 1 steering, 4 seats and 1 engine. So can it be a scooty? No, scooty doesn't have 4 wheels, so it is not an option of a 2-wheeler. It has to be a 4-wheeler vehicle. So what can be a 4-wheeler vehicle? A truck? No, a truck has more than 4 wheels. If it is a mini truck, yeah, maybe 4, but yeah, if talking about transportation trucks, it has 6 wheels, 2 in the front, 4 in the back. Okay, I'm not talking about spare wheels. This is just an exceptional case. Yeah, we can create a car easily because a car has 4 wheels, 1 steering, 4 seats, maybe sometimes 5. So okay, think that it is a small car like Mr. Bean, if you have seen that series, and 1 engine. So we can create a car. What if I change this 4 wheel to 3 wheel and from 4 seats? Yeah, still we can say that it is 4 seats. We can create an auto rickshaw, and if we take 2 wheels and then 1 long seat without any steering, just an engine, we cut the steering, it will become a 2-wheeler scooty or a motorcycle kind of thing, because steering is not there in a 2-wheeler. So these are few concepts, like how we can take different types of object to create a new object, or different types of class to create a new class, and this is known as inheritance. This is known as inheritance. So how did this work? So we already had the body of the car. The body of the car is itself an object, and we took properties from 4 different objects. It is not always that you can take property from a single object, but multiple objects also. You can acquire properties from multiple objects. Like these are the wheels. You took the properties, and now your body of the car has 4 wheels. You took the property of steering, and now your car has a steering wheel. And now you took the properties of seat. Now your car has 4 seats. And now you took the properties of engine, and now your car has an engine. Now it has become a car. Before it was just a body, and now it has become a car which can actually run. So you have created a complete different object out of already existing object. It was just the body of the car. Now it is a complete car which can go around with your friend in the town. Okay, so this concept is known as inheritance, acquiring properties from another object, or you can also acquire properties from multiple objects also. And this inheritance gives some advantages to the programming you will be doing in Java, and it has 4 advantages. If you're using inheritance concept in your programming language, it is not in class 10 syllabus, it is in class 12 syllabus of ICSE. Inheritance programmings are not there, but you have to understand the theory, because question may come in your board exam in form of short questions like 2 marks, 3 marks questions. So it gives you 4 advantages. That is reusability of the program, saves computer main memory, avoid repetition of writing, and reduce execution time. I will give you an example to understand all the 4 advantages. So you are giving your board exam in your school, in a hall, big hall. So you know, exam seats would have been arranged according to roll numbers or something like that, and students will be sitting here. In each bench and chair, student will be sitting there. Okay, and this is you. And this is your friend. And your friend is very intelligent. You are happy that you have a friend in front of you who can help you in case you're not able to solve some questions. So it is a 2 hours exam. You know that your friend will definitely score 100 out of 100 for sure. He will be scoring 100 out of 100. 2 hours of exam, 1 hour has already passed, and you saw that you have solved only 30%, and the pass is 40%. What to do now? You have to do something, or else you will get scolded from your parents. So then you started calling him, "Arey dikha de mujhe answer thoda, ye bata de, wo bata de," and he is not listening. He said, "नहीं, मैं तुम्हें कुछ नहीं बताने वाला हूँ. You have to do by yourself. You have to score by yourself." So now, though you have not studied for the exam, but you are far intelligent. Intelligent doesn't mean that you have to get 100. Okay, it doesn't have to do with that. If you study, you will get 100. Even if you are intelligent, if you don't study, you will not get 100. Okay, so you are intelligent. You are very intelligent. Only that you are not devoting much time in studies, which you should do by now, because the board exam is not a small exam. It is an important exam in your career, and it will be remain with you till death. The percentage, anyone can ask, like you are in 60 years old and your grandchild is asking, आप कितना लाए थे class 10 में, and you will say that 50%. So he will laugh and you will cry. And you are asking your friend and he is not showing the answer. What you will do now? You will now use the concept of inheritance. So what we'll do? This is your friend's answer. Okay. This is not possible in real world. It is just an example to make this class more enjoyable. And this is your answer sheet. What you will do, that since is not showing anything, what we'll do, you will write whatever is the answer of A is the name of your friend now, is my answer. You're saying that whatever A is written, that is your answer. Means when your teacher will see your paper, he or she will read that whatever is the answer written by A, whatever A is written, that is my answer. I am not repeating myself because it is the same question, so answer will be also same. So why to write all the answers again, because A is already writing all the answers. So you will just write that whatever A is written, it is the same answer for me. And how that means whatever A gets, like if he gets 100, you should be given 100 by the teacher. If he gets 90, you will also get 90. Okay, so basically you are copying all the answer from your friend A to you, your B for example. Okay, you are acquiring or copying all the answers from A to B by just writing whatever is the answer written by A is your answer. So what will happen now? You will get all these 4 advantages. Reusability of the program. We'll be writing Java programs, but this is you can assume that this is nothing but it is a program. So here these are answers. The reusability means you are reusing the same answers already written by. You've already written a program in Java, and in another program you have to use the same thing. You do not have to write it again. You have to use the concept of inheritance. If you use the concept of inheritance, you don't have to write the same program again, but you can just copy and paste kind of thing. What you are doing here, you will just write that copy from program A. There are programming syntaxes how to do inheritance, not in our syllabus, but when you write the syntax, everything will be automatically copied from A. You don't have to write a single sentence again. So here when you write that what is written by A is my answer, then automatically you are reusing it. You are not rewriting it, you are reusing it because he has already written it. So why you have to write it again? Saves computer main memory. So for example, A might have taken around 10 pages to write all the answers, but to write whatever is the answer written by A, you need only 1 page. So you're saving a tree and you will be awarded for that. You're saving the environment because he is writing 10 pages and you're writing just 1, because you have to take 1 page even to write a single word. You have no other choice. You cannot tear a part of a page because you have to write at least your name and roll number. Okay, and you have to write whatever A is written. So you're saving a tree here. Basically you're saving memory. Memory in forms of pages. Memory means, I know you know about computer memory. Maybe you have studied in your previous classes like kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte. So these are memory spaces. Like in pen drive, you have a 4 GB pen drive, right? So here you will not be using, for example, this 10 pages is worth 4 GB. Or for example, 10 pages means 10 GB of data, of information, and 1 page means 1 GB. So why to use 10 GB? Because a 4 GB pen drive and a 10 GB pen drive, for example, 16 GB pen drive, which is cheaper? Obviously 4 GB. So this will be cheaper for you. So when you already have a program and if you are writing again, you are using more space. More space means more cost. This is what happens in software companies. If you are rewriting again, means you are using more space. More space means more cost. So it is a loss for your company if we are talking about software engineer terms. Okay, so again it saves main memory. Here you are saving more pages. Avoid repetition of writing. Obviously he is writing, so you are not writing again, so you are avoiding the repetition of writing. Reduce execution time. He took 2 hours to write this paper because it was a 2 hours exam. How much time do you need to just to write whatever is the answer of A is my answer. I think 10 seconds. So you are saving time. And what will do the rest, like almost 2 hours? You will see who is writing what, who is cheating from whom, the teacher is scolding whom. You will look through the window, the vehicles, the birds, the trees, and you will enjoy the nature and everything, because you have plenty of time, because you have already inherited everything and you have saved your valuable time in seeing the birds, the trees, the vehicles, the teachers and other students, and you're laughing about. Okay, so this is how you have used the concept of inheritance in your exam. You have just written the syntax to inherit from A to yourself, that is B, and whatever is the answer of A is my answer, and you have used all the 4 advantages, that reusing the same answer, or here reusability of the program. You have saved pages, that is saves computer main memory, basically hard disk, or sometimes RAM also, depends where you are writing the program and all. You have avoided the repetition of writing the answers again, here repetition of writing the program again, and you have reduced the execution time, or basically the time of writing. Executing means in action, you're writing the answers. So we reduce the total time of the program of writing the answers. So these are all the advantages of inheritance, which will be used in your Java programming. Not in class 9 and 10, but you have to remember this theory, this advantages. It might come in your board exam. And it has already come. In 2008 only we got 2 questions from inheritance. First was, what is inheritance and how is it useful in Java? You already have the answer. Inheritance, acquiring properties from one object to another object. You have one object acquiring properties of another object, or a class acquiring properties of another class. How it is useful? It is nothing but it is just the advantages of Java. That is reusability of the program, saves computer main memory, avoid repetition of writing, and reduce execution time. Again in 2008 you got actually 4 marks, 2 marks this and 2 marks more. What is the difference between base class and derived class? Okay, these are related to inheritance, but these are new terms. Will I explain it? I will explain it to you. What is base class and what is derived class? Okay. So from the definition we already know that class acquiring properties from another class is known as inheritance. If class A is acquiring some properties from class B, okay, A is acquiring from class B, then we can say that it is inheritance. Here comes the concept of base class and derived class. Okay, out of A and B, one is base class, one is derived class. Can you guess which one? Okay, B is the base class and A is the derived class. Derive means to bring something. So you are bringing from A. So B is the main class. It is a main class. It has all the properties. And you are bringing some properties or all properties from B. So you are deriving. Who is deriving? A is deriving. A is deriving means A is bringing something from B. Therefore, A will become the derived class. Since A is bringing or deriving some properties from B, then A has become the derived class and B is the main class. Therefore, it is known as the base class. And you have to write this definition in board exam and making a little bit easy for you. Here, there are 2 classes, X and Y. Okay, X and Y is acquiring some properties from X. Therefore, X is the base class and Y is the derived class. Y is acquiring from X. Okay, Y is deriving from X. Y is bringing something from X. Therefore, Y is the derived class and X is the main class. Therefore, it is a base class. Like father and son. Father is the base class and son is the derived class. ये कोई नहीं बोलने वाला है कि तेरे पापा को like your father that you are same as like your son. No, they will tell you that you are same as like your father. It is not the other way. क्योंकि father has taken birth earlier than you. So father is the base class and you are the derived class. Father and daughter. Okay. So daughter, people will say to you that you have same as like your father. So we can say that father is the base class and son or daughter is the derived class. The class which derives certain properties from another class, that another class is a base class, through inheritance. They are using the concept of inheritance. It's called derived class. So this completes encapsulation and inheritance. Next part will continue from polymorphism in part 3 of this chapter 1 video. I think you have learned a lot till now, and if you have calculated the number of questions we have solved, I think you have already solved 10 to 12 marks of board exam, and that is like 10%. If you get all these questions in your coming board exam, you can solve almost 10%, and it is just like you have studied just a part of this whole syllabus of 9 and 10. So you can see how important chapter 1 is. Okay, you may get all the questions, who knows, but yeah, from chapter 1 you will get around 4 marks at an average. It may go to 2, it may go to 6, maybe 8, but yeah, at an average you may get around 4 marks. So this is an important chapter because each mark is crucial to fetch you 100. There are 2 subjects in which you can fetch 100 easily, that is maths and computer. You can easily score 100 in these 2 subjects, so it can help you to increase your overall percentage. So therefore computer is a very important subject to make a total of grade 95%, 96% in your board exam. So I hope you enjoyed this class, and next class will start from polymorphism. Till then, have a nice day. Goodbye.